just get it really wet. This process here should only take about 30 seconds. Because if not, the water becomes acidic and it will burn out my image. Photography is one big magic trick, because now those areas that are dark, they'll go away. And each time you ink the plate, you have to get it wet. What happens is if you let the plate dry, it gets the really thick black marks that you saw a minute ago. Keep it wet, the grease or the ink only goes where the grease have been before. It doesn't go on the outside, it doesn't go anywhere, it stays on the image.
Well, the philosophy of the printmaking program is that people should know all the means of printmaking, all the mediums that are available to them. With computer imaging and digital imaging, there's a number of things that can be done that way, but none of them are alone. They're always sort of grouped together. So the idea is that people will be well versed in it so they don't have to compromise anything.
I think digital arts and computer arts have become detrimental to all forms of art because I don't know, there's something about actually making something, actually doing something with your hands, sitting there and spending the time doing it, physically touching what you're making. That's lost when you sit at a computer. And people mention to me all the time when I tell them I'm a printmaking major, they're like, you could just do that on the computer.
Printmaking has definitely lost some relevance due to there's no longer a need for it, and there's such a big difference between what people in this world need and what people in this world want, of course. And there was a time where printmaking was needed. I mean, it was the only way you were going to get a book, and the only way you were going to get an image in a book was certainly through kind of processes of things like etching. Now, as this kind of digital age has moved in, naturally, people no longer have a need for printmaking the way they might need to have a an inkjet printer at home.
I think it really is losing relevance, which I think is too bad because there's a lot of things that you can do with it that you still can't do with any kind of digital outputting.
Now I'm just going to run a proof of this to see how my ink is being laid out. See if it's taking. It's proof on newsprint, that's why I wasted the paper. Excuse me. This is a Tempin. It's basically linen that's been coated in a polyurethane. I think it's polyurethane. And what happens is you have to grease it, and you have a scraper bar. And using guides that I've made on the side of the press, just little pieces of duct tape with arrows, again, very high tech. You lock the press in. You have to set the pressure. So now the pressure's set. Stop again at my measuring. Like make sure it locks. Grease it for next time. And there's proof one.
A number of people teaching. Some are sort of run a print press, printing for other artists and so forth. Some work in galleries and museums. And a variety of them work in other fields outside of that.
There's really, you can work for a high-end printer in a print shop, or you can work in a university. And those are really your only two options.
Well, if I graduate, well, I will graduate soon, hopefully, but
I might go to culinary school.
Really, when I get out of college, I'm sure I'll just keep the job that I have now and keep making art and music and hope that one of them goes somewhere. You know, I mean,
that's a tricky question. It would be, I mean, I don't know.
Like 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself?
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm gonna do once I get an MFA or even with my BFA.
But there is not really a position for all printmakers to fill. Naturally, there are people who just make prints, but is that enough to sustain yourself? Probably not. So for me personally, I mean, I've accepted that. I have other skills in areas, things like web design and stuff like that. And I will imagine I'll probably pursue those as a source of income. And I wouldn't say printmaking is going to be relegated to being a hobby for me, but it is always going to be relevant to my life, and I can't see myself ever quitting it, ever not doing it, one way or another.